12:01 a.m. Eastern on August 1st, 1981, MTV went on the air. And Tal was watching.
I was watching.
Wow.
I remember. So this is when we had cable, but it was the click box cable. There wasn't even digital, right? It was the analog. You went up and you clicked through each channel that you wanted. There was such media hype around this launch of a new channel, specifically aimed at the younger generation. This was kind of the start of that. Nickelodeon had been around for a few years before, but this was kind of really aimed at young adults. And it was the visual representation of radio, on television. Like, many people may not believe this, but MTV actually started out as music television. It really
just
was
showing videos.
there to show
24 hours a
videos
day.
with VJs, which was the equivalent of DJs, but for videos. And really, they didn't have any of the reality TV show stuff yet. They didn't have any other programming besides just showing videos. And I remember staying up until 12:01 and having the little spaceman and the like such that iconic music. But it was a thing that people were talking about.
Kurt Loder, delivering the news. Hey,
They
you are very Kurt
wow,
Loder.
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I never noticed.
I think he influenced me.
Yeah.
They instantaneously created the greatest water cooler network of all time. I mean, if it was on MTV, it was hip and people were talking about it. It created careers. I mean, I don't know if Michael Jackson or Madonna would have been quite what they were to our culture if it hadn't been for MTV. Of course, they were talented musicians, but those videos, had so much to do. I also think about somebody like Weird Al Yankovic, who was pretty much made for the music video era. That MTV made that guy.
Well, it was awesome because you would see the videos that you loved, and they'd be starting, and there'd be something a little off, and you'd be like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's not the one I love. This is
Why is Michael Jackson so fat?
Yeah, this is Eat It or whatever."
Exactly.
My neighbor down the street, because like a lot of things, parents didn't know this, but most of the videos on MTV were like really sexy,
Really?
and like it was the kind of stuff that like you couldn't just see that stuff on regular
Tawny
TV.
Katane? Oh, yeah.
So I was a little kid. My parents didn't let me watch MTV. It was sort of like trying to watch scrambled porn. I would wait till they went to the basement and switch channels and watch.
My neighbor down the street, his mom actually bought one of those locks that went on the cable box that she could lock up to make sure he couldn't see MTV after 9 o'clock at night when the real crazy stuff started happening.
Were we neighbors?
I hope not.
Okay, I wonder, because that sounds very familiar.
Yeah.
One thing, even like the tongue-in-cheek way that they started with Video Killed the Radio Star was the first video that they showed. I mean, they were really, playing off of what they do and really having that humor in there too. It was just, it's funny to think now about how important music videos actually were back then to artists and to the music industry, but also how they became like mini movies, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember the Thriller video, and obviously that was a little bit down the road, but the video for Thriller was amazing. I mean, that was like a 17-minute long little vignette, and it was just incredible.
I also I really liked the format because for the first time, and I never really got this on the radio, sometimes you would just hear a song on the radio, or the DJ would be like, "This is blah, blah, blah by Tony Braxton on the new blah, blah, blah." But on MTV, there was a 4 or 5 lines of information starting and ending every video. It'd be like, this is Damon Hatfield, this is his record label, this is the name of the single, and this is the year it came out. And you had all the information you needed, and you were equipped to go to the record store and get whatever you needed to buy.
And while you were at the record store, you talked with your friends about all the other stuff you'd seen on MTV.
It is, even though it obviously, again, started a little bit later, it is important to note that MTV was kind of the start of reality television as well.
It was,
Later
the real
on,
world.
they would
the real world,
bring us reality television.
But
they brought us a lot of other things. They had forward-thinking sketch comedy shows. They had The State on there. They did Liquid Television, where they were showing really cool animated stuff. They gave us Beavis and Butthead.
All of that was incredibly influential to me. Especially a lot of the stuff like The State, as being weird, offbeat, sketch comedy made by a troupe of friends. The Liquid Television stuff was like super deranged, artistic. Even Yo MTV Raps, which is like I'm wearing a shirt inspired by it that I'm mic'd up right now. I don't get too loud, but that was incredible to me to just turn on the TV and be like, hey, there's 30 rappers. And they're just all in a room, and they're all just hanging out. And they're going to put on a beat, and they're all going to take turns rapping.
That's a great point to put out there too, because you talk about usually most radio formats, you're locked into one type of music, right? This was a network that had a heavy metal show.
Headbangers Ball.
Every Saturday night I watched Headbangers Ball.
Absolutely. They had Yo MTV Raps. They had the all 120 minutes, right? Which was the all music. So I don't think they ever really did much country, but I mean they really mixed a lot of different genres and formats and really exposed people to a lot of different music that they may not normally hear.
Can we have this back?
I know, right?
This is one of those ones. Some old ideas are not good, but this was a good idea. I'd like this back.
Permanent fixture of my childhood. I'd come home from school, MTV was just on. Even at like the daycare, it would like just all day long MTV was just playing on TV.
So your parents wouldn't let you watch it, yet David's daycare had MTV on.
We were fine.